Welcome to the podcast. This is Sir P. Now, what a time to be alive. You see, we're now able to see and hear the decision-making process for many of the cases them in Ireland. Especially when they make it clear what leads up to the verdict is even more interesting. You see, over the years, I've been familiar with a lot of cases, and enough time I see some man get all on pan. Right, now some circumstances where it look like the case is a sure thing, and then the ear say, man, bust the case. And I always wonder how. That's because I've never really been familiar with the court side of things, as in what go on in the judge or the decision making part. The people who look on the evidence and then make a decision. Now I'm starting to see it. I understand why people have been busting case all these years. Even some people who I was sure would never say it again. Today, I'm going to give you another example. Well, you see, the public is under the impression that certain basics, right, is just, a given. Don't even have to think about it. But now we see that even the basics, they're not get right. Whether it's from the prosecution side, enough time from the police side, enough time from the judge side. Very interesting. I mean, we just see the prosecution charged 87 under the wrong part of the law. People who specialize in the law did that. Then, at the start of the Klansman trial, we saw the judge get baffled and almost upset that the star witness, right, was giving immunity. Now we're seeing the same judge, right, basically summarize, right, the Klansman case, and him touch upon a point where, well, all me can do, right, is look and shake my head. I go tell you now what I talk about. You have an 87 named CJ, and I go hear all about it when the trial is finished. Now, CJ, right, take part in a shooting, right, of a bus driver who, right, Blackman faction claims say loyal to the shop, and basically I make certain talk like him no want to work with the Blackman system. So, right, them kill the boss man. CJ was a part of that shooting. Well, that same CJ is now at the center of this judge decision making process, and it look like CJ might bust the case under extraordinary circumstances. This right so, right, this is a case where it's not even one of them things that where nobody never come forward, or it was sketchy, or people are wonder if this is clear cut. So I'm gonna tell you what went down here. CJ and the shootout, and then I'm gonna tell you how the judge, right, is saying that how the police officers and describe it can't go so, right. So CJ and Squeeze Eye, right, in our car, right, them get intercepted by, right, the police. Remember, CJ carry out the shooting at the bus driver in name Hat, right. CJ, right, is now being hunted. Then intercept CJ and Squeeze Eye. CJ had a 6-hour 1911, right, 45 ACP on him, right, them called the Ultra Compact. Very small, but it's a 1911. He had 2 magazines on him. He always carried both of them because the gun was small, right? They can look it up. Later I'll show you what it looked like. Right? But the magazine holds 7. 87 don't like them type of gun there with low capacity, right? So him always have at least 2 magazines on him, right? With the little small 1911. So people are familiar with handguns should know about the 1911, right? Various manufacturers have for them version of the 1911. It's basically a design, right, of weapon, but you have different brands, right, who make for them own 1911. So 6-hour are for them own, and this one is the small 45 HTP version, let me say, Ultra Compact. So CJ, right, so the police officer them now, right, jump out and start shoot off of them. They are now in a running shootout, right. He fire off a barrage of rounds, he then change the magazine, right, and then him have a misfire, right. So the gun, right, in other words, people say the gun jam, quote unquote gun jam, right, but let's just call it a misfire. Right? People think when a gun jam, it necessarily have to mean something wrong with the gun, and that's not really always the case, right? Remember, this is a 1911, it has a number of features built into the gun, we can make it no fire, plus, right, you have to remember, this is a high intensity situation, right, so, say people not do things that they're supposed to do, or maybe this bad, maybe the ammo never bad, all kind of reasons, but after I'm changed mag, right, the gun misfire. At this point, he was arrested, right, and taken into custody. Now, normally when 87 shoot out with police and go about them have misfire, right, that would be the end of them. But there were some very interesting reasons as to why CJ never losing life on that occasion. We're going to hear all about it after the trial is finished. So, no one have an idea what going on. CJ said the police shoot off at them, change mag, go and jump on him, police take him into custody. So now, the judge, man, is saying, based on the testimony of the police, there on your screen, CJ fired at least 8 times, and the gun could only hold 7. Therefore, a unicorn meet the police to myself. Let me repeat. Right. The judge is saying, based on the testimony of the police, CJ fired at least 8 times, right, and the gun would only hold 7 rounds. And then he also mentioned, say, the magazine with the hold him with, right, had 6 rounds left. Right. So he's saying, if the magazine can only hold 7, how did he fire at least 8 times and still have 6 rounds left in the night? This is mind-boggling. You know why? Because you would assume that judge, not just any judge, but the Chief Justice, who probably covered hundreds of cases involving guns, would have a basic understanding of how guns work. The 6-hour 1911 Ultra Compact magazine was 7. Right, but Your Honor, the gun fires 8. 7 plus 1. 7 plus 1. Police officers are not lying that there is at least 8 rounds go off. Magazine holds 7, but there's 1 in the chamber. It's 7 plus 1. The Glock 19 magazine holds 15, but it fires 16 in its standard configuration. 15 plus 1. Your Honor, 7 plus 1. Even though the magazine holds 7, it can fire 8. There is a round in the chamber. So after him change mag, as I said, right, start fire, the gun jump on him. So now when they hold him, he was held with the gun, the magazine in it will still have 6 rounds, and this is what was handled in. Remember, they were in a running shootout. 87s are not police or soldiers, right? When they change the magazine, right, they're not putting it back in them pouch and taking out the next one. Especially when time them in a situation like this, they might change the mag, take it out and fling it. Right, wherever it drop, it drop. They might put in one next mag, that's all they're concerned about. So who knows where that first magazine is. But when they maul him, the gun had a magazine with 6 left in night. As I said, the gun jammed. Right. It was a 6-hour 1911 Ultra Compact. Right. 45 ACP. That gun was originally sent down for somebody else. Right. Blackman see it. Right. Take it from that person. Right. And CJ end up get it. Don't ask me how I know that. You'll hear more after the trial done. Right. So the gun fires 8. Your Honor, some more people my Iron Man to realize something. It is very possible that CJ might walk from this because the Chief Justice, right, don't understand that a gun will hold 7 in the magazine can actually fire 8. He also doesn't understand that people can change magazines. Right? Not because a gun hold X doesn't mean that it can only fire X. It's not like, well, 7 in the magazine so you can't fire no more than 7. If I have a Glock 19, 15 plus 1, I can fire 100 rounds out of it, change the magazine, right? Brand new magazine, fresh 15 rounds, right? And if me get shot and killed right there so, and somebody come and take the gun off of me, I will be found with a magazine full. That doesn't mean that I didn't fire any shot. It just means that by the time you shoot me, or by the time you catch me, right, I change the magazines. 7 in the magazine don't mean so only 7 the gun can fire. Mags can change, mags can even be extended. Right? The mag I catch me with at the end of the shootout does not mean it's the mag I started the shootout with. As me say, these are 87s, they don't put mags back in pouches, then take them and fling them out the place. Right? He's shooting for getaway, he's shooting for getaway with him life. Right? He's not carefully resting down the magazine, who knows where that gone. Right? But Your Honor, your argument that right, the police them are sell unicorn because them say at least 8 rounds fire, right? But them find the gun right with 6 rounds in it and the magazine can only hold 7. That does not hold up in the real world, Your Honor. And this is why I'm telling from the start, I'm not a fan of the idea of one judge, not care how senior be, being in charge of the entire trial. Since we're not on a jury, at least have a panel of judges, alright? I don't expect a man to know everything in the world. I don't expect a man to have, a vast knowledge of guns and how guns work, right? But this is why you have a panel. This is why you have 3-4 men or 5-6 judges, and one of them most can say actually the gun was 7, the magazine was 7, but it's 7 plus 1. So it's actually 8 rounds it fire, right? So it's not impossible. The judge is saying in this case it's impossible say 8 rounds fire if magazine was 7. But the gun does fire 8 rounds, and you can see by your screen. This is the Chief Justice. Not him said CJ go bust the case off of this. We just want to see how elementary these things are, and people are bust case with them. This is elementary stuff. Right? Now for the time when I used to wonder how them money are bust case, now I know why. I was thinking it's some high level complex thing on them. This is elementary. Right? The Chief Justice, the judge, will look at it and say, well, magazine holds 7, so you can't fire 8 rounds. Imagine try telling somebody that. Imagine going in front of a regular citizen and saying to them, well, CJ bust the case because the judge say, right, the magazine holds 7 and police saying fire 8, right? At least 8. Right? So, that's why I bust the case. People say that can't be it. You would think there's something much bigger, yes, sir. Your Honor, Chief Justice, right? Mr. Top Judge. That's not how firearms work, sir. Right. The magazine holds 7, but the gun fire 8. There's a round in the chamber. 7 plus 1. There's nothing mind-blowing about this. There's nothing special about this. Right? There's nothing complex about this. There's no sophisticated lie, right, going around. They set up CG to make it look like, say. Yeah, so anytime you see the headline that say Ballistics disprove the police case, I was thinking they were showing that the round that came from the chamber CG gun to a match, that's Ballistics disproving something. However, amount of rounds left in our gun is not Ballistics disproving anything. Let me repeat that. The amount of rounds left in a magazine does not disprove anything, right? Because you don't know how many magazines the shooter started out with, right? Just like with the example with the Glock 19, I can say I can fire off 100 rounds out of a Glock 19. However, if I reload a new mag and then you catch me, right, and I didn't get to fire off the rounds out of the new mag, or I get a misfire and you take that gun from me and you see that the magazine is full, right, that does not mean I didn't fire at you. That just means I emptied the magazine and fling them some more the place. This is how people bust case in Harry, man. This is elementary stuff. Elementary. I don't even know if we say about this. Can you imagine if people was just reading the news and just working with them and say, they would think, no man, look how the man set up poor local CJ. Suppose enough people never have the local YouTuber. Right? Because I understand enough civilians don't understand how one thing work. I understand. So imagine people never have the local YouTuber to break this down for them and show them so actually the gun holds 7, the magazine holds 7, but the gun fire 8. Right? People just be reading the articles and saying, boy, look how the material life and look at CJ same fire gun. Cause see the judge say, but the judge clearly don't understand how guns work. But he's the one making the decisions. We need at least a panel of judges. If they're not in a jury, make it be a panel of judges and people with a wide understanding of things. I mean, you would assume somebody who's trying a gun case would understand how guns work. This is mind-blowing. This is mind-blowing. Harry, man. No problem, man. As I said, people, Jamaicans are going to be reading this article and thinking to themselves, boy, look how them wicked do. Because see the judge of your point to start lie, they might take a 8 round to fire on a 7. People. The gun holds 7, the magazine holds 7, but the gun can fire 8. 7 plus 1 in the chamber. CJ change the magazine, right, and the second magazine jump on him. Just like I see on your screen. The police officers mentioned that the gun look like that jam. Right? He had a misfire. They maul him with 6 rounds left in night. But it look like the judge has already made up his mind, so CJ is probably going to walk. 7 plus 1, Your Honor. The gun can fire 8. And not because you find out 87 with a certain amount of rounds in the magazine at the end of the shootout, that means that him started. extraordinary. Anyway, Patreon squad, big up on yourself. PIA, you don't know, more life. Vulture squad, stay clean. Bless.